Hey guys, in this video we're going to learn how to add and subtract fractions by finding and using the least common denominator. So let's dive right into it with an example. Let's say we have 13 over 8 plus 7 over 6. And quickly I want to show you the method that we did in the previous video. Let me just space these out. And the method that we did in the last video is we multiplied each of these fractions top and bottom by the other denominator. So 13 over 8, we multiply by the other denominator, 6 over 6, and 7 over 6, we multiply by the other denominator, which was 8. So 8 over 8. And this works to getting you a common denominator. So 8 times 6 and 6 times 8. These will come out with fractions over 48 when you multiply them out. And this works. 48 is a common denominator. That is why this works. However, it's not the least common denominator. And just to show you quickly why it's not the least common denominator, let's take a look at 8 and 6. Let's just do this, separate them. Let's do 8 times 1, 8 times 2. We'll just look at a quick times table. 8 times 3, 6 times 1, 6 times 2, 6 times 3, and 6 times 4. So what's 8 times 1? It's 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 3 is 24. And 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18. And 6 times 4 is 24. So right here it's 6 times 4 equals 24. And 8 times 3 equals 24. That is their least common multiple, actually, LCM. So because 24 is the least common multiple for 8 and 6, we can use 24 as the least common denominator. Now, let's erase these. And let's write them out. So we know both denominators are going to be over 24. 24 over 24. Now we have to think, how do we get from 8 to 24? Well, that's just multiplying by 3. So getting 13, we're going to do 13 times 3. 13 times 3. And how do we get from 6 to 24? That's multiplied by 4. So therefore, this will be 7 times 4. Let's erase these. And let's go ahead and multiply them out. So right here, scroll down a little bit. What is 13 times 3? That's 39. And what is 7 times 4? That is 28. And they're both over 24. Let's add them. And what's 39 plus 28? That is 67. We keep the denominator over 24. And 67 over 24 is our final answer. And that is how we add 13 over 8 plus 7 over 6. Now, there's one more method I want to show you. So let's erase all these. Let's get rid of these as well. So in order to find that 24, we had to actually multiply 8 and 6 by 1, by 2, by 3, until we found a common factor of 24. And that works. That gets us the least common denominator, but it's very tedious work. There's actually a better method to do this, and that's called the prime factorization method. And that's what I want to teach you right now. So let's say we have these two, both the denominators 8 and 6. So the goal of the prime factorization method is to break them down into factors. So what two numbers multiply to 8? Well, 4 times 2 is 8. And what two numbers multiply to 6? Well, that's just 3 times 2. 6 is just 3 times 2. So let's scroll down. And we keep doing this until we can't do it anymore. Let's look at each number now. Can we break down 4 any further? Well, yes, we can. 4 is just 2 times 2. Can we break down 2 any further? Well, not really. It just gets us to 2 times 1. But that's about it. We just stop there. We consider the 2. Same thing with 3. We can't really break it down other than 3 times 1. But anything times 1 is itself, so that's not going to help us. So we can stop there. And same thing with the 2. That would just be 2 times 1. We can't break down these numbers anymore. So we have all these numbers, this 2 times 2 down here, the times 2 up here, and on the right side we have 3 times 2. Okay, so let's just separate these. So we know that the left side relates to this 8, and the right side relates to this 6. Now this is very important. What we're going to do next is we're going to write these in exponent form. So how do we do that? What's 2 times 2? How do we write that in exponent form? Well, that is 2 squared. But don't forget this times 2 up here. So we have 2 times 2 times 2, 3 times. That is 2 to the third. So we have 2 to the third on the left side. Now over here on the right side, we have 3 times 2. We should also write these in exponent form. So 3 is really just 3 to the first power times 2 to the first power. And what you're going to do next, you're going to look for common bases. So in both cases, on the left and on the right, they both have 2 to the power of something. And over here we have 2 to the power of something. On the left side, we have 2 to the power of 3, right here. And on the right side, we have 2 to the power of 1, right here. So now, scroll back up. We're going to pick the one that has the higher exponent. So 2 to the power of 3 and 2 to the power of 1. 3 is bigger than 1. So we're going to pick this 2 to the power of 3, and we're going to drop this 2 to the power of 1. So let's go down. We have 2 to the power of 3. We've gotten rid of this 2 to the power of 1. And we have this 3 to the first power, which we're going to bring over here. And we're going to multiply them. So now we have 2 to the power of 3 times 3 to the power of 1. What's 2 to the power of 3? That's just 8. Or if you want to write it out, that's just 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Times 2 is 8. So 2 to the power of 3 is just 8. And what's 3 to the power of 1? That's just 3. 8 times 3 is 24. And that is our least common denominator. And that is a better way of arriving at the same answer, because this works every time. So now that we know our least common denominator is 24, we can do what we did before. And let me erase all this. We can do what we did before and just have the denominator be 24. And then, of course, to get 8 to 24, we multiply by 3. And to get 6 to 24, we're going to multiply by 4. And we do the same thing we did before. We'll arrive at the same answer. But that is just another way to find the least common denominator. So I hope this video helps, and if you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. Thank you for watching.